Yes, boys and girls, you heard right. Iron Will has been made aware of Fluttershy's predicament, and Iron Will is going to go down there and teach Fluttershy a thing or two about making a difference. Iron Will's going to explain the necessity of times of having to put your foot down and tell the dungeon monsters that they're not going to push you around any longer. Rawr. All humor and spectacle aside, Iron Will is on his way down through the dungeon. Iron Will show Fluttershy that it is okay to be a tougher pony than she has been thus far. For those of you not familiar with what the fuck I'm talking about or who Iron Will is, and for whom that was your first introduction, let's just say that Iron Will is a minotaur found in the My Little Pony Friendship is Magic series thing, who at one point teaches Fluttershy how not to be a fraidy cat. That is precisely what our Iron Will is going to do today. Head down through the dungeon and find Fluttershy and teach her not to be a fraidy cat. Hopefully, you know, I will let this determine whether or not I decide to run whatchamachallit. I will let this decide whether or not I want to use necromancy on her or not, depending on whether or not he's able to get far enough to educate her. But really, out of character, the only reason I'm doing this is because I really need a break from playing Fluttershy, and I figure a quick Minotaur would be a good one. It is going to be a single segment run, I guess, unless it gets super long, then I might break it up. Actually, fuck it, yeah, I'm just gonna break it up. But expect a very standard Berserker play with minimal risks and no risks taken. The only interesting thing is I plan to go pole arms instead of axes. That's interesting to some because axes is apparently the standard, but for me, I've always preferred pole arms, and I probably will always prefer pole arms until maybe cleave. Cleave might change that. Let's lose the hand axe altogether at this point. One other thing is, I've had a successful speed run where I beat the game in 3.5 hours. Not on camera, unfortunately. And on the heels of that, I would really like to see if I can do that again. So that's kind of part of what I'm going for with this, to make it a speedy run. Because Iron Will waits for no pony! Okay, no idea what that is. It's stasis. Fuck that. Stasis is poison on a berserker. Like, seriously, I would rather deal with... yeah, maybe I wouldn't rather deal with constant poisoning. But yeah, as a Trog worshipper, there's almost no advantage to be had from stasis under almost any conditions, unless you're using an atypical berserker build. Okay, there's so many of them that I'm just going to berserk and take them all out. For those of you who watch my videos to try to get a good idea of how to play, do not read too closely into the way I'm playing here. I am being more careless than usual, and that's part and parcel of the fact that I'm trying to go faster. I can pull this off because I do have enough knowledge of the game just to instinctively make some of the correct decisions. It was totally worth a ration just to be able to berserk him out to death. Important things for you to pick up are that I constantly like fighting in corridors when I can, and putting all my enemies in a line because that's where they take optimal death. That I'm prioritizing strength in my, despite the fact that I already have so much, because one, it helps me with heavier armors, and two, the ultimate polearms / axes all have good strength tilts, like 80% or more. For a Bardich, I believe, is just 80%, and it goes up from there for like Executioner axes and the like. So ultimately, you're going to want more points in strength than in dex. But it doesn't hurt to have a few points in dex also, especially since, you know, dexterity helps your weapons. your lower level polearm weapons. And your dodging. I mean, it's nice to be dexterous. I guess that should go without saying. Scroll of Identify. Have I already identified the Scroll of Identify? I have. Then I don't need to buy one. Okay. Missed any armor? Not really. What am I wearing anyway? Splint? Yeah, that's good. Near total non-reliance on what the dungeon gives them. That's one of the most brilliant things about Berserkers. They're happy to have better armors, and certainly weaker Berserkers, I guess this doesn't hold true for, but like classic Berserkers, the Mountain Dwarf Berserker, the Minotaur Berserker, they remain item insensitive for so long, and it only at the end do they start being like, alright, you know, it'd be nice to have some better resists or whatever. It'd be nice to know what my Scroll of Teleport is. I should probably figure that out soon. Need to Berserk. Wow, that came really close. Okay, near starving, but I do have stuff to eat. Hopefully the first enemy I come across is something I don't need to Berserk against. Yay! So when you are actually starving, you have about 100 turns and a single pass out to warn you so that you don't, just instantly die. That said, you take such serious penalties to all of your combat and movement, I'm pretty sure as well, that it's never a good idea to be starving or near starving for, when you can correct it. The only reason I didn't eat a ration the moment I hit that point was because I was literally right next to food. And near starving, I had already cleared the floor, so there was a fair estimation that I'd be okay. Also, I carry some small foods with me at all times so that I don't have to worry about eating in a combat situation. I can eat a small piece of food to get back to berserkable status, clear everything by my single berserk, and then eat something bigger. All y'all getting sacrificed to Trog. Definitely want to heal. Hell, I'll berserk just to take out this guy with minimal risk of death. Unfortunately, the way I cleared that, I didn't have what I needed, so eat a choco, because I don't have any chunks. If I had cleared that in a different order, I might have had bat chunks. Yay! Food! And only the second piece made me nauseous. Yeah, nausea timing is actually fairly appropriate on a Minotaur. Yes, it typically lasts long enough that the rest of the chunks from whatever you got nauseated on will probably rot, which is a little bit long. But it's not so long that you'll drop another hunger status while waiting for it to disappear, which is how it feels on a pony. Because sturdy ponies are always inferior to Minotaurs. Definitely gonna go Trog's Hand to regen here, because, yep, these black bears can potentially berserk on me. Sack 'em. A new trident, an old trident. More clears. Kill his ass. Oh crap. See that orc priest? I have a choice. I can run down this hallway away from him and hope to God that I don't get smitten 7 times in succession, or I can take 2 steps forward and dive. The second option is actually better in my opinion, because now I'm staircase hugging. And I have more than enough health and regenerative ability to tank it. Now, of course, what's the probability that if I had run away straight up, he would have remembered to smite and smited me successfully every single time? Fairly low, but if he did, I'd be dead. Or at the very least have to burn through a lot of permanent stuff. This way I got to preserve all my permanent items, and that's kind of a minor victory. Plate armor. I'll take that. Any identifies? Yes. Let's use it on this ring. Sure, that's good. What do I have 4 of? Anything I have 4 of, I'm gonna quaff. Okay, now I'll go down to what I have 2 of. And in terms of reading, what do I have multiples of? 3 of you, 2 of you. That should about do it. I'm too weak to recover if he happens to get a good hit, so I have to go upstairs first. Wait off all the nonsense and then go. This is a good situation to get a ally of Trog in. Just, you know, to be sure. You don't want to die. And that means another ration, so fine. Deal with it. Okay. Continuing to explore. Let's test all of the ones I have on this thing. Ooh, that was painful. Turned it into something dangerous. Well, the good news is, it's not so dangerous that I can't stab it, and it's not dangerous enough to actually damage me. Not only did I get some skill level ups, I'm actually quite close to getting a level up, an actual level up as well. Yeah, burn him, kill him, strength, int, dex. Let's go int one more time and then done with it. Strength goes up passively by itself as I level sometimes, which is good. Since they all were bottlenecked, it was a no-brainer to berserk on them. But yeah, int on the other hand, of course, a Minotaur will never raise on his own, because Minotaurs do not need to read books and be intelligent. Oh, winner. Test the last wand. I don't know what it is. Okay, I still don't know what it is. And, I don't need an ally of Trog yet, but I am going to open with regen, just in case, and then go berserk on them. And then get an ally of Trog, I guess. It fails. Fine. Let's see how much I can do, because I'm at full health, so ally of Trog even might be premature. Try again now. Perfect. They're all dead. That means a lot of Trog sacrifices, a lot of piety. Probably need to eat soon. Let's get around a corner and stab him until he's dead. Then eat him and eat him. Okay, perfect. Hunger is under control. Completely under control. 2 wizards in the wide open is a dangerous scenario, especially with a hard hitter to back them up, so I'm running. Here, on the other hand, around a corner is totally safe. Let's back up a second, give them... I'm going to turn on regen so that I can out-heal the flies. Yes to the edible, none to the rest of them. Eat, sack, sack. Yeah, you don't have resist poison, like, off the bat, like some species do, but as a berserker, you can get away without it for a lot longer, since you can potentially give yourself a bumper crop of healing without needing a potion. Running away. If I can just drag one of them, that's no problem. But if multiples come, then I'm in more trouble. And of course, none of them came, so that happens too. Sometimes you don't get unlucky. Nobody came. Interesting. One of you should come. There you go. Who else wants to volunteer to take on a Minotaur upstairs? Stab you to death. It's always tricky when they're invisible, but the good news is the AI tries to stay in the same place a couple times just to help you out sometimes, usually. Unless they're like unseen horrors which fly. So you can often figure out where they are and then just keep attacking them. And if you get lucky and they don't go critical, if they just die, then they won't run away. So it's perfect. But if they take enough damage that they start running, then you have to go hunting for them and it gets harder. Okay, my trident got corroded, so it's time to switch to my other trident. I'm going to keep the first one in case I run into another jelly. Though I'm actually going to search for polearms, see if there's any good ones that I've ignored. It's a glaive, but I'm not even close to where I need to be to equip that. Also, I'm going to turn off fighting's focus at this point. Normally, a good player would be micromanaging a lot more on their skills. I am not doing that because I find it unnecessary. It takes more time than it's worth. considering that I'm trying to go quickly. Put it this way, I've played for 15 minutes and I'm on the 7th floor of the dungeon with well-leveled skills, and I've cleared the sewer. Okay, that poison from range is going to stack a lot, so let's hide. Worth switching for a turn, and then berserk. Why am I berserking? Because I don't want to spend too long being attacked by that poisonous, or by that jelly. And thankfully I don't wear enough armor that I lost good armor slots or anything, so, you know. When you're at 0, you do get some benefits. Let's stab you to death. I might starve to death fighting this guy, so be more cautious. Okay, this is why you keep small pieces of food like chocos available, so that when shit goes wrong, you can eat just enough to get yourself back to berserk without spending more than 2 turns or 3 turns. The key thing that I did that I didn't announce was that I turned on regen for health. Also notice that I'm not focusing the tough guy, I'm killing the small ones to extend my berserk as long as possible. And only sparing a turn or 2 on this guy when, you know, there's nothing else to target. And that worked out quite efficiently. Awesome. Burn, burn. What's this? Nothing of note. Orcish plate. Presumably about as good as what I already have. Yeah, it is. Whatever. No biggie. Let's go down. How are we doing, by the way, overall for dungeon clear? Haven't found anything yet, have we? Ooh! Guys, and I'm confused, so let's unconfuse myself first. Wait for one of them to come into range. Berserk and kill him. Grab the Bardich and run the other way, because I don't know where the other one is, and I can't immediately berserk. Now I can. Let's start butchering. Maybe she'll come when I eat her. Her friend. Okay, more skilling. There you are. 2 can play at that berserk game, and only one of us can win. Yes, it's our will. I'm severely poisoned, so I'm going to cure out of it. May not be necessary, but it makes things simpler so that I don't end up with lower health for the rest of the floor. Also, I'm going to retreat, because where there's a bee, there's an army of bees. And as it is, I'm hunger statusing. My hunger status is not improving, so I'm not comfortable being able to berserk. This is a very interesting dungeon layout. Or floor layout, I should say. Okay, hippogriffs drop clean corpses, and they usually drop corpses, but unfortunately, I need to berserk to kill him reliably, and I can't, so I'm going to summon an ally at massive piety cost. He still didn't drop anything, so I'm forced to eat a ration. Of course, the moment you eat a ration, they start dropping corpses. Our will hates books. Okay, there's another kill. There's a white. I'm not really concerned about him unless he can drain me. And he can't, so we're good. But one of them probably can. Yep, I just got drained for 12% of my MP. That's why I occasionally will berserk against whites even though I'm not scared of them. Well, I managed to accidentally ID 3 negative things, so hooray, I guess. I've also been wielding the wrong trident for a while, so let's fix that. Okay, only one of them mercifully was able to drain me. Do some stab dukening, kill some more. You die, and I'll butcher you so that I have something to eat for if I need to berserk or feel like berserking. Like here. Sack some more corpses. How is that Bardiche of mine, by the way? It's an anti-magic Bardiche. It's pretty good. It's a top-level weapon, and ultimately one that I might end up making my endgame weapon, if I find, unless I find a good artifact or something in between. But it's going to be a while before I have sufficient polearm skill to use it super efficiently. I don't want to risk getting drained again, so I'm actually going to let a troll take care of this. I know that, strictly speaking, that wasn't the best move, but the way I see it is Piety will come back fast enough, and as much as I would like to get more more Trog gifts, if Trog literally doesn't give me any other weapons from here on out, I'm still in okay shape. Berserk and Slaughter. Let's see. Butcher. Nothing worth butchering, eh? So butcher anything then. And of course become nauseous, because the game wouldn't be nice if it didn't have annoying things like nausea. Nausea, when you're very hungry, poses a special danger of not being able to quickly restore your berserkable status. It's part of why I retreated for as many turns as I did, just to maximize the probability that I would get it back before I suffered for not having it. Of course, in the event that that had gone south, I could have used a Scroll of Fear and then used that turn to make good. I mean, I have options. I have heals. Just good habits. Good habits are good. Fighting while poisoned and below half health is not a good habit. Just take me upstairs, goddammit. Seriously? You're gonna poison me that long? That'll hit me with poison anyway. That was some pretty significant poisoning. Alright, 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 you win. I'm gonna regen out of it. I don't need to heal out of it, because that would use up a permanent pot. And in the future I might be in an emergency setting where that's more valuable. Okay! I'm scared of Eustachio because he can summon clouds worth of allies. So let's make sure that he is too close to evade me, and then just boom, kill him. Of course, he could have left me a corpse to eat. That would have been nice of him. Let's eat some meat. Ironwill likes eating meat. Stab you from a distance repeatedly. It's the one thing you can do with the polearm that you can't do with an axe, is kite slow enemies. Not medium or fast enemies, but slow enemies. And there are some pretty decent ones in the lair to do it to. Also, it occasionally gives you an extra turn to attack an enemy as they approach you, or as they start to flee from you. Both of which are scenarios in which you'd want to do exactly that. There was only one corpse and only one chunk in all of that? Wow. Bad luck. Usually yaks are a series of corpses. Or did I burn them and not even pay attention? I don't know. Iguana... See, right there. If I had been an axe wielder, I would have had to run after him. Or, you know, use a different item. But as a polearm user, him retreating just means I get another free attack on his way out. And usually it's enough to end him. Yeah, I'm gonna pull them to the stairs and then berserk, but I am totally just gonna berserk these guys. It's part of where my hunger issues are coming from, is that I am berserking very freely, more so than many I know would. It's just that I feel like if I can get away with it and I have as much permafood stocked as I do, I don't have to worry about it yet. Just use it whenever it's going to make my life a bit faster or easier. Because Ironwill values convenience. Ooh, books. Close that door. Then come to me. After having played Fluttershy for so long, it's so interesting to no longer be afraid of being at melee range with enemies. Nauseated, sickened, and poisoned. This is a bad combination. Wow, that was a named unique. I would never have guessed. That was ridiculously easy, all things considered. I didn't even lose a lot of gold, which Maurice can totally do to you. Okay. Good iguana flesh to eat. Drop something, anything, I don't care what. That would be good. Also, let's test a few more wands out. Hell, let's just read a lot of these scrolls right now. I read 3 curse scrolls in a row. That's good, because statistically, one of these is virtually guaranteed to be a remove curse, and it's probably the one I already tried that didn't work. Recharge... Hell, I don't know. The one that I just tried that didn't do anything was probably a digging scroll, so maybe that one. And this one will be an enchant armor. Okay. Blink scroll. And remove curse for everything else. And sap the wand, and sap the wand, and nothing appears to happen, and... Let's drop all the useless stuff here. Polymorph other is always dangerous to drop on the floors, unless you want to get a buttload of mutations that aren't good for you, so I won't. Let's also quaff some of these things. Confuse, brilliance, resist, agility. Okay, cool. I need to start being a little bit more leery of test quaffing potions, as the odds of getting the potion of mutation goes up the deeper you get, and the more you've tested that aren't it, obviously math is math, so the next unknown is that much more likely. That looks like the entrance to the lair off to the side, and that looks like paralytic eyeballs, so I'm going to get out before getting back in. Paralytic eyeballs don't scare me when I'm, you know, not facing any other enemies. Apparently there's another invisible enemy I didn't know about. Apparently a yak literally appeared from thin air. It hits you but does no damage usually prompts me to get into a thin hallway like this. Okay, I'm taking a shit ton of damage. I'm gonna start healing immediately, and even berserk. But it's still on me. It's still on me. Different staircase. Try again. Why the fuck am I being beaten on? What are you? I have it in a corner, but... Again, heal is valid. Got it. Don't know what it was. Even now I don't know. It was definitely more hard-hitting than a unseen horror, but it was more persistent about remaining invisible than a typical sky beast, or whatever they're called, storm dragon sky beasts. So, I don't know what it was. I need to eat in order to be able to berserk, and I need to not be under attack in order to eat, so catch-22. I no longer have small foods, which means it's even more dangerous than usual for me to go around unberserkable, or very hungry. But I'm just loath to use up my perma-food when I don't have to. Okay, now I have to. That didn't take too long. Okay, so far so good. Cleared a lot. Now it's time to get back into a narrow corridor to continue that job. Turn on heals, get an ally of Trog, start berserking, and continue kicking ass. And now that I'm exhausted, get out of the way. Rest up, rest up, rest up, rest, 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 go through everything, get back in the game. There's something invisible right here. I freaking hate you, stupid invisible. Going upstairs immediately to stab the bee to death because stacked poisons in the context of possible invisible enemies is too much to deal with. But there should be a lot of burnable and or edible corpses. They are no longer edible or burnable because I waited too long. Oh well. C'est la vie. The good news is they all died without difficulty. Normally this entrance to the lair would have been a much, much harder fight, you know, for a non-Minotaur. For a non-Berserker, I guess would be more accurate. Yay! More permafood, including small permafoods, which is really good. Honeycombs are an excellent example of a food that doesn't take too long to eat and gives you a reasonable amount of health back. Definitely want to pop that from a distance so as not to lose food value off of it. Honeycomb into Berserk. My trident has been horribly beaten down by the slime during my previous escapades, so let's go ahead and take an Orcish trident, which is equally shitty. Have I seriously not found a good polearm this whole game? I guess there are spears, and I'm probably close to the skill level I can use a halberd at. Not there yet, though. I'll kill you all. Nyahaha. Sack the corpses, burn the bodies, let the bodies hit the floor, let the bodies hit the floor.